this should be around 2 a.m. and I decided I wanted to make this video. To be honest, this is my first main YouTube video. My sister advised me to start a YouTube channel yesterday, and I decided that this night, although to be honest, when she told me, I was just saying okay. I didn't know that I was going to start like immediately. It just came to my mind like recently that I should talk to undergraduates. I've always had it on my mind that I want to say something right to undergraduates, and I believe that this is like the best opportunity for me to like do that. I know as an undergraduate, you always be tempted to only say, I want to focus on only my academics. I want to graduate to first class. I want to have 5.0, it is, or 4.0, depending on the CGPA point that your school is using. That could be your main goal. There's nothing wrong with that, honestly. That should actually be like the main goal. But the way the world is changing right now, you need to just do more than focusing on your academics, especially if you want to meet up in this fast-pacing world. When I started my part one journey, in my mind, I thought that I was only just going to focus on academics. But one thing happened, I can't remember, right? I think I contested for, there is this thing called honorable position. So I contested for that. Initially, I thought I was just going to focus on academics because I love books so much. I wanted to have 5.0. So I said I was just going to focus on academics. However, some things happened and I had to contest for the honorable. I won. Like, I won the slot. I think I even had the highest votes, if I can remember clearly. Okay, so fast forward, as I was going on with my academics, the honorable thing was not really stressful at that moment because I was just in part one and I was just trying to like learn the whole thing, get acquainted with the whole system, so I didn't have to like really do much like that. Okay, I think we did exam. We did one exam like that, sociology, if I can remember. Okay, I think it should be sociology. That was how they released the results. I was shocked. When you finish something, I thought I was going to have A, but I had a B. Oh my God, this was crazy. Because in my mind, I was just thinking, do you know? In fact, when I saw the results, I was thinking in my head that maybe they were going to change it somewhere to A, but they didn't change it to A. Like, I was so sad. I was so sad. But when I started hearing the results of some of my other classmates that I felt like they were supposed to have better results, that one even made me, is that something like sadder? It made me more sad because the exam was simple, to be honest, and it was CBT. That was even when I started my beef with CBT exam, because almost all the exams I did on CBT, it usually maybe like B. So I was so angry about it. However, life goes on. Later on, I kept balancing my academics with some other activities. I think I did the case study competition. Yes, I did that, and my team was the first runner up. It was so funny, but we won, and I loved that we won. We were part of the winners. Okay, I also joined the quiz team. In fact, I would say that joining the quiz team was like one of the major highlights in my university life, because it was the main thing that changed my mindset. So due to the fact that I joined the quiz team, we were told in the first couple of meetings that we had, we were told to write our CV. Before they even told us to write our CV, they showed us one of like the executives. They showed us a CV, and when I look at the CV, that was when I knew that I needed to do beyond academics. I don't know how to like describe how I felt why I saw that CV, but it really did change my mindset, and I knew I was going to do more while in school. When I saw the CV, I told myself that by the time I get to the level that this person was at that time, I want to I I, I want to achieve more than what he has on his CV. Like, I don't know if I compare. I don't want to compare, but I mean that was like a driving force for me then. So I wrote my CV, and when I wrote my CV, one of the executives collected it like to review. When they saw my CV, they was like so happy to like see some of the achievements on my CV. They like, when they collect my CV, they start showing like the other people, like, look at this girl. Like, I think they've talked about me before. Myself, I was feeling myself, but that particular CV that they showed us was still on my mind. I was thinking about it, like, So that went on. Since then, I knew that I would always need to do more than like the norms, like the norms. So, I talked about passion, that they released one of the results that I was not really happy about. Now I kept pushing. There is another one too. I think it was a B. That was when I knew that this one is not like what I imagined though. Because in my head, 5.0 was the goal. But then we kept moving. I was really sad because I normally read a lot. Sometimes I will go to the library around 7 a.m. and I will come back in the evening. To be honest, now when I think about it, I don't even know I was able to like do those things then. So, but when I released some of my other hard is in all those ones, I was really happy about it. It was nice, right? So in part one, I was on first class. Let me just say first semester part one was on first class. Second semester, I think I was in first class. Maybe when I joined the two years all together, my entire CP was still like 4 point something. It was first class. So before I got to 2011, I told myself that this time, I don't want to even do politics. So in fact, aside from the fact that I don't want to like I didn't want to like do politics for my academics, then I also just wanted other people to like do it. Leave other people, let them do it, right? I remember that there was a particular position I could have contested for. I said, let me leave it, let me just do other things, let other people do it. Because I didn't even know that I was going to still eventually like participate in politics anymore. And then I got to part two, and I told you that my CGPA in part one was not really like I was grateful that I had achieved a first class, but it was not what like the kind of CGPA I wanted. So I said I was just going to focus in part two. And I should also point out the fact that I started my econ exam, like the HCS exam, right? And when I finished the HS1, I won HCS overall best in Nigeria. So that one too gingered me, you want to read well, you want to read more. I can't do it stressful, so you have to like combine you have to combine school. Because I wanted to also win more prize. When you win one prize, you always want to win more. That's just the truth. I should not even lie about that. I had the mindset of winning more prize, but I didn't really can win more prize. But my CGPA skyrocketed in part two. I think in part two, first semester, like I had like 4.9 something CGPA. Sorry, GPA. I was so happy. Like it's not even about like having only 4 points. Like when the results, like the individual results, Shannon was it like 90, 98, like I was so hyped. See, I just same thing for second semester, like I did so well. And I think like the two exams that I did that were B. One was CBT, and I told you that I have beef with CBT. The other one too is something relating to computer. I don't know what's their problem. I don't know. I don't just know what it is. Okay, I should also say that why being part two, like doing all those things, academics and ICANN, I was also a member of Student Finance Club OAU, and I became an executive of Bureau Finance. You can still see that regardless of the fact that I was building academically, I was still like doing other things. Like, in fact, that's even the most important part of this conversation, because I want to talk about the fact that you can do other things while still being in school and you can still excel. So I was juggling everything, you know. When at some point in part 2, I think, um I was saddled with all those responsibility relating to like the executive role I took in BOLF. I had to do a lot. And SFC, so I was an active member. I can't remember. Okay, I was not an executive in SFC, but active member. I can't remember the other stuff that I was doing. So when I got to part 3, in fact, I did well for semester. But second semester, I think I started my ambition to become the president. It's fast. So funny how the idea came to my head. I never thought in my head I was going to contest for the president of my department. Thinking about it now, I'm still shocked. I just, in fact, it was one of the most iconic things that I did in school, because I never planned it. I thought I was just going to, after I finished that part 1 politics related role, I thought I was just going to focus on academics. But so I started preparing to contest for president. Like, you have to do a lot of things, because this is a very big department. I've not even met a lot of people that I was popular. Even before I gained admission, I was very popular. Like, I was popular because there was this particular OAU page on Facebook that I was very active there. I normally post. A lot of people knew me from that page alone. And when I gained admission, I think I was added to the WhatsApp page of my department, so I got to like know a lot of people like that. And the fun thing, like the fun thing is that people got to know me in my department just because I answered a particular question. And the way I answered the question, it was a question on double entry. I used simplified, there's this a particular textbook called FAMS, so I used the definition of double entry in that FAMS textbook. And it's actually like, just, I don't know, it's made people feel like, oh, this girl has that all. Although, to be honest, I was channel. So people got like started knowing me from that situation, and people started, like, a lot of people reached out to me after that time. Okay, but then let's leave that aside. So I was preparing to like contest for president. Like, I had to do a lot of things and create a scene, start campaigning, individual, like, all those things actually affected me academically, because the pressure was crazy. And another fun fact is the fact that it just started raining here. So my departmental student association, they have never had a female president before, although we've had a female presidential candidate aspirant. She contested, right? In fact, was a great inspiration for me, right? The pressure was much. But we did the election and I won. It was crazy. I won. I'm thinking about it now, so I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I won. Right? So it was a whole lot of things. Sometimes like this, when you win something, you be like happy. When it's time to now start working, doing the work. So academically, in a way, I slowed down. It's not as I was not reading, no, but a lot of things have changed about my life, and I also started working. I think in part 2 I transitioned into tech. Right, I started with software engineering. Then from software engineering, I think I moved to product management and so on like that. I got internships, opportunities with companies. So I was working. I was doing my presidential duties. Also ICANN exams and all. Other things that I can't even remember right now. So I was doing a lot of things. And at the end of the day, I'm so fulfilled. because I graduated first class, and before I graduated, I was already working a full-time job that was already like earning well, right? And the fact that I was earning actually helped me, right? Because at a point I had to start like fully like fending for myself. Imagine if I had no other, like no source of income aside from like my dad, or like the people that nobody give me money. Like it would be so bad. So it helped me, like honestly, right? So I started like I didn't even know where I've gotten to. I got it first class, I made a trade, and I got a full-time job. What else? I didn't complete my I completed my account like some months after I finished school, right? Because I had VEF in a particular paper, all this. In fact, I didn't know how that was possible. It's still one of the most heartbreaking things that happened to me. But the reality is that there's something that will happen to you too. It's just life. What else? Actually, like, I did a lot of things that I can't remember. I achieved a lot of things. I should have actually like maybe documented so I can like list them out. But the point is not even about those things. The point is that you can do a lot while being an undergraduate. I know some people might not be able to multitask, but the one you can do, you cannot just only focus on academics and just leave every other thing aside. Why? Because like I said, a lot of people are in job market with a lot of experience, and they are job wanting, they are still looking for a job they have not gotten. Imagine you that you don't have anything aside from your academics, and they want to compete with the same people. Definitely we want to give preference to those people. So I want to encourage you to, if you're an undergraduate and you're only focusing on academics, please make sure you change. Join clubs, join social impact organizations, join, volunteer for events. There are campus related events, volunteer for it. In fact, events outside of your campus, volunteer for it, volunteer for them. If you can like intern with organizations in your campus, all those people selling pop-up restaurants, just intern with them to like get experience. You know, abroad like this, a lot of people merge work with school. So be free to do all those things, so that when you graduate, you not just be like you don't have any experience, you don't have any experience with job application, you don't have any experience with writing your own CV, you don't have experience with your own LinkedIn account, nothing. Don't be that kind of graduate. Please start working right now. So I don't know if you got to the end of this video, please subscribe to encourage me so that I can post more. Like and share with any undergraduate that you know that you feel like this will impact. See you in my next video.